Where were they living when you can start remembering, good Alma?
Well, I can remember our place up there on Wheeler Hill and the house that Dad built up there. And that it had a window seat in it, and that's when Dad got his eye put out, when he was building those window seats. He was using scrap lumber off of packing crates or orange crates or something like that. You know, they had a metal stripping around them, the corners or something, and he went to knock that off with a hatchet, and a piece of that hatchet came off and went right through the center of his eye and lodged back in it.
Box hammer he was using.
No, that happened up there.
No, that was on Wheeler Hill.
On Wheeler Hill.
And then he built a house up there in the barn. He didn't have anything when he went up there. He milked cows all the years he was up there. And then I can still remember the time when we used to swim in that old vat. We used to have vat to cool milk in. You didn't have these where they pump them through the veins like we do now. But we used to swim in that big old vat he had in there, and it was cold water to cool the water with, or milk with. Yeah. And I remember one time we came out at noon and he had it put in hay, and all the kids climbed up on this haystack. They're all coming down. And I was the last one off, and Dad came out the door, and I couldn't have been over probably 4 years old, and I didn't think he'd ever quit kicking me for sliding out of the haystack. And you guys were all standing around the barn hiding, and that's the first thing I can remember putting her up there, and I was probably 4 years old.
Do you remember that old touring? Remember that old touring car they bought up there?
Yeah,
that's my first memory.
The windows that snapped on, the covers on.
He had an old star up there. He blew the rods out of that, taking up Wheeler Hill.
Oh.
He blew the rods out of that thing. We had to go down and tow it up. Remember that?
They had us all sitting on the back seat, and they were going to town, and he hit a bump, and the seat went up, and I'll come back down, and all the kids were sitting there but Audrey. And I always remember hearing Mom say, "Where's Audrey? Where's Audrey?" And they couldn't find me no place. Finally, they stopped the car and got out and made the kids all get out, lifted up the seat, and I was under it.
My word.
Was that the same car I fell out of twice?
They never kept
you fell out the door, and the door swung over.
Yeah.
But see, you were born up there too.
Yeah.
I was
You
born.
were
born on Wheeler Hill.
And where did you go?
In fact, the doctor didn't even make it.
Dad bought an old 29 Chev car new when we were up there, and he used to haul milk. They had a trunk they used to open up, and they had it held 4 10-gallon cans in that trunk. You remember that one? Mm-hmm. And we had that thing till we moved to Wenatchee. Moved to Wenatchee in 1930, and he bought a 1930 Chevrolet 1.5-ton truck. And he went out hauling wheat. He went up to Washington and hauled wheat with that thing. And it was about the size of a half-ton pickup, but it was a 1.5-ton truck.
To get back up on that farm they had on Wheeler Hill, he really broke the ground for a lot of that. It hadn't been broken before, and he planted an orchard up there of Bing cherries and apricots, Moore Park apricots, the big ones, you know. Mm-hmm. And that was later up there than it was down in the valley. I can remember our apricots never got ripe till after all the valley apricots were gone. And then he'd get a less price for them. But they always got ripe on my birthday, you know, so we always took a load of apricots downtown for my birthday. And the way he got those started, we didn't have irrigation up there, and when he first planted his orchard, there wasn't even a ditch to irrigate them with. No water come in from storage anywhere, and he hauled water up to those trees with a stone butt. He made a puddle hole around every tree, and we had a spring down in the gully behind the house, a kind of a little canyon, and that's where we got our drinking water and water for everything. And he'd go down there with a stone boat with some big barrels on it, and we'd haul water up there to water those trees to get them started with, because he knew he was going to have the water in the ditch, you know, in a year or two or something like that. He knew when it was coming, but he didn't have it then, and he knew he could get a head start if he'd get those trees in. So that's the way he did it. That was a hard way.
Stone boat is.
You guys all know what a stone boat is?
Hey, I
all many rocks.
That's right. Up at the Pure Lake.
2 boards and some more boards nailed across it, and you drug it.
That's right.
He also worked on the plume system there. Could I remember telling about that?
We did what?
He worked on the plume system that irrigated that too.
Then after the water came in, of course, he had the irrigation water from that system. But I still remember going down and riding with him, bringing that water up, from out of there with a team of horses.
Yeah, they had that road that went around kind of down into the hole, down where the water was. And then Dad turned the horses in on the lower part of it, and so he just put the fence posts up, and he run the top barbed wire across to keep the horses in. He didn't have the whole fence up. I always remember that. Boys used to just love to tease me and chase me. They always teased me about Ernie Quinn, red-headed Ernie Quinn. And they'd start teasing me about him, and I'd start running, and they'd chase me, and I went down that road, and I was shutting the ball, and then I hit that top wire right under me. It knocked me clear back on my back. But anyway, the boys were in shame then, and so they got home, and the folks were going to town, and I got to go to town. Usually we all had to stay home.
That'd get your throat cut to do it. But.
Yeah, I got to go to town with them. And
I never thought of that. I probably would have tried that.
I always remember going to a restaurant with them, and they had those little oyster crackers, and I'd never seen anything like that before, and it was just fascinating to me.
That was a real treat. If you ever got to go to town with Dad when he took a load of hay or anything in, why, he'd always take you to this restaurant for dinner, and that was a real treat.
Hot roast beef sandwich?
Probably.
That's what,
probably hamburger steak. You get that for a quarter.
Yeah.
The first restaurant that he ever took me to was right here in Electric City. Bill and I came down here from the Met Hall a little before the family came down, remember, and he took us to a little hamburger stand and bought hamburgers for $0.05 a piece. I'll never forget that. First time I'd ever been to a restaurant.
Oh, well, we've come out for 2 weeks. Now we eat every day in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I can remember when
We
we
used to go to Colville and buy the maple bars.
Oh,
Those are maple bars. They baked
You
you.
get
That
a
was a big deal.
package of wieners and a package of Ohio crackers to eat going home.
Mom liked them big old wieners.
Yeah,
You wouldn't eat the little one.
That was Dad's favorite, the little dinner franks.
Hey, I was a teenager during World War II, and we took 5-10 gallons of cream to Colville, and we bought flour and sugar and some oatmeal, and if there was a little bit left over, we got some puffed wheat or puffed rice.